It's a fast-paced tour. I'll be telling you a lot of information, showing you places where you might want to go and visit, certainly restaurants and jazz clubs and certainly different neighborhoods around our city. The great city of New Orleans is almost 300 years old, and we do thank you for choosing Gray Line as your sightseeing touring choice. In the 24 miles, we're also going to talk about how we bury above ground in the tombs and crypts, take you up and show you Lake Pontchartrain, down through the neighborhood of Carrollton, finally down St. Charles Avenue. St. Charles Avenue has the Uptown neighborhood, the Garden District, the Lower Garden District, and the Warehouse and Arts District. That'll be we'll be doing that the last part of the tour. And I'll be letting you know as we go through neighborhoods where we are. Certainly in the French Quarter, that's the most visited place in New Orleans. People, no matter what they're doing, what they're doing in New Orleans, whether they're honeymooning or a convention or maybe just visiting and passing through, doing a cruise, or you know, they always want to go on Bourbon Street, and so there's only one Bourbon Street, and that's where all the wildlife is. So be careful. You'll have fun on Bourbon Street, but Royal Street and Charter Street, they have all the antique shops, art galleries, and novelty shops, restaurants also. Bourbon has also some restaurants too. So, but as you visit New Orleans, there's a lot of things that we do here because this is where we live. You know, certainly we don't visit here and go back home. We stay here all year long. So let me show you what we do in New Orleans and share you a bit of American history. Starting back in 1682, there was a French Canadian. His name was René Lesueur de Lissalle. He founded the mouth of the river and claimed it in honor of King Louis XIV of France. Later on in 1699, there was two French-Canadian brothers, Bienville and Iberville. They brought women and children and military for protection. They built a little village along the Gulf Coast. The city is now called Ocean Springs, and that's in the state of Mississippi. They named their first bayou Mardi Gras Bayou. Well, unfortunately, the older brother Iberville had died of yellow fever in 1706. Younger brother Bienville came upriver 125 miles by boat and founded what he called New Orleans, named after Philippe Duc d'Orléans, who went on to become King of France. And of course, so we were governed by the French from 1724 to 1763, and then from 1763 to 1803, we were governed by the Spanish. In the year 1803 was the year of the Louisiana Purchase, in which the Americans had bought about 1/3 of North America from the Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte of France, and then we became a state in 1812, 200 years ago. Here on the left-hand side is a statue of Bienville. They brought the Jesuit priests to teach the Roman Catholic religion. And Indians had been here, the Choctaw, Chickasaw, Homa, Chapatulas, and the Tunica Indian tribes. So this, of course, is our 200-year birthday party from 1812 to 2012. We've been part of the United States of America as this 200 years ago, we became part of America after being governed by the French and Spanish. Now, up ahead on the left-hand side, I want to point out these brick apartments. Up ahead on the left, these brick apartments are the oldest apartments in the United States of America. They were built by a very wealthy Spanish woman. Her name was Alma Nestor Pontaba. The year was 1851. If you look on this side of the brick apartments, you might see how it says Utes Liver Pills. Do you realize that New Orleans had America's first pharmacy and first licensed pharmacist, the museums on Charter Street? We also had America's first opera house. There was a whole culture here that was being developed by the Creole, and I'll talk about Creole and talk about the Cajun later on. But in the balcony, which is on the 3rd level up on these brick apartments where the two plants are, and then you got the gallery. Galleries have the supports in heart-shaped design. See if you can make out the letters AP. If you can, that stands for Alma Nestor Pontaba. She's the Spanish woman that built these in 1851. Yeah, you'll see it. Maybe after the tour, you'll walk by and look up there. You'll see 3 historic buildings on the left-hand side of this. One's called the Cabildo. That means town hall. That was the Spanish seat of government on the left. And then, of course, the St. Louis Cathedral is open up during the day if you want to go inside. And on the right-hand side of the cathedral is called the Presbyter House. That means priest's house. It's also a Hurricane Katrina museum. But here's a statue of Andrew Jackson on the left. He was the hero of the Battle of 1815, and he became America's 7th president. Something you might want to do, look over here on the right. This is Café du Monde, the original coffee stand. This is where you get those French donuts called beignets, which are deep-fried dough covered with powdered sugar. They also serve our delicious hot coffee called Café au lait. This is the French market, a very famous market right here along the Mississippi River. This on the right is Aunt Sally's. She makes her pralines there, which are sugar, pecans, and butter. And there on the left, this is where the Two Jacks restaurant. They have a Creole cuisine, but they're known for their beef brisket at Two Jacks. Been there since 1856. The oldest restaurant is Antoine's, which has been there since 1840. Central Grocery, they got the Italian cold cut sandwich called a muffalata. Cold cuts, let's see. Let me point out, there's a liquor store, then you have Central Grocery right next to it. Let me point it out to you. But this is where they have those really good cold cut sandwich called a muffalata. See there on the left? But they are closed on Mondays. Unfortunately, they're closed on Mondays. But there's another place on St. Louis Street called Napoleon House. They do have the same sandwich. Here on the left, of course, is the... Oh, also there's Frank's. He's got sandwiches too. Right there next door. He's open. Now to the left of us, the gold statue of Joan of Arc was a gift from France. You have Montreuil's Bistro on the right, and you got the Market Cafe to the left. This is where they have live jazz music. New Orleans is the birthplace of American traditional jazz. We have cool jazz, contemporary jazz, traditional jazz, Dixieland jazz. There's all kinds of jazz. Even if you go to Utah, you got the Utah Jazz basketball team. But here on the left-hand side, of course, is the farmer's market. Fresh produce, hot sauces, spices. I'm sure you can find a voodoo doll to buy and take home. You want to take a voodoo doll with his own custom pen. Yeah, practice that hoodoo voodoo. And then, of course, on the left-hand side, you got the farmer's market. I mean, the little flea market here on the left, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. You might find that prices are cheaper here than on Bourbon Street. 9 to 5, 7 days a week at the flea market. Here's the red and yellow streetcars. They do only cost $1.25 to ride. They run about every 30 minutes.